Get strong.
Welcome in, roster the people for Thanksgiving weekend, week 13. Neil Smith, as always, joined by Jason Draven. There he is, right there. The at that F nerd on all the social media programs. Help platforms, help yourself. Go nuts. All right. People are starting to file in. Glitchy's here. Some people have got the memo that we're doing this on Tuesday. We tried to be as loud about that as possible, but whenever we have to change days, there's always some kind of thing with this. Happy Thanksgiving in advance, Jason. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have something fun planned.
Nothing.
Don't let your wife hear you say that. No, say that quieter. Don't let the wife hear. That's going to come up in couples therapy. And now there's video evidence of it. So good job. Good job, buddy. Good job. That's how that's going to work. I have a rule, which is never write anything down that you would never want read back to you in a court of law. This kind of applies because it is being recorded. So good work, Jason. If anyone is a lawyer. All right. So we're here. We're doing it. Hope everybody's getting ready for a happy Thanksgiving. Hope it's not going to snow where you are. And hopefully the drive/flight to wherever you are going will be pain-free. We will be here. We will be around. We're doing this tonight. Daniel's here. He forgot. He forget. But he's here. He made it. And there you go. So we will be around, obviously, to answer questions. Post them in the Discord because tomorrow we will be doing Locked In. Mason and Vishal will be in and Jason and I's normal time slot, getting you all ready for the betting lines because they're kind of useless to you for the Thursday shows if they don't do that way. So that is where we are, and there will be no Thursday show. That's just not happening. I believe Jason will be driving to somewhere. And I don't want him FaceTiming in the car.
I also don't want to just the separation of the games is weird. And so answering
it's the same as what they did.
Wednesday
Same as what they did last year. It's 10:30 Mountain, 11:30 Central, 2:30 I believe Mountain, 3:30 Central, and then 6:30. So it sort of makes sense if you think about the fact that it basically should just flow one game into the next with very little downtime. I think that's why they spaced it that way. What my concern about the games on Thursday is more the skill disparity of those games, because in the morning you have Bears and Lions, which is kind of traditional. The Lions always play in the morning. It just happens to be that they're going to play the Bears. I think the Bears will give it the old college try, but not expecting a whole lot, to be honest with you, as the Dan Campbell FU tour continues to just roll on. The good news about that game is that it does look like Amon-Ra St. Brown and David Montgomery are both going to try to play. So that will help. I doubt you have better options. Considering Amon-Ra St. Brown is the wide receiver 2 in PPR, I really don't see how you're going to have a better option than that, even if he was playing on one leg. And David Montgomery is David Montgomery, and I do expect there to be a small amount of garbage time at the end of this game after the Lions are up 28-14-ish, neighborhood of that. And then don't watch that afternoon game. There's so many better ways to spend time in your life than watching the Giants play the Cowboys. So many better ways to spend your time. You could read a book. You could talk to your family for as long as you can stomach it, depending on that your local mileage may vary on that. Sorry, but that's just the way it is with family. And you could bother Jason. By that point, he'll be looking for a distraction so you could ping him any number of crazy questions at that point. Again, 3:30 Central Time. Pencil that in. Go nuts. So you could go for a run. You could take a nap. There's infinite ways to spend your time that isn't watching the Giants play the Cowboys.
Movies are out. There's a handful of good movies you can go see.
There's a bunch of good movies. There's also older movies. You could watch the movie Thanksgiving.
Yep.
You could watch the movie Thanksgiving. That's a very different movie.
I mean, they're pretty much the same movie.
No, no, I refuse. I'm not doing that on this show because then people are going to watch Thanksgiving in front of Grandma, and Grandma's going to die. And I refuse. I direct your hate mail to Jason. I am not liable for anybody who watches the movie Thanksgiving. You were warned. That's why this is all being recorded. There's also a lot of really foul language and a satanic turkey. The plot of Thanksgiving is basically if Chucky was a turkey. I don't really know of a better way to describe this. Do not watch Thanksgiving if you have a weak stomach. Also, do not watch Thanksgiving in front of old family members that will probably not react to it well. The movie Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving horror movie, lot more. It's violent, but it's a lot more accessible to like people. And if you do decide to watch Thanksgiving, go ahead and direct your hate mail to at that FF nerd on Twitter, and not me. I warned you. You were warned. I have video evidence. There it is. Anything else you want to? Any other questionable movie recommendations we want to talk about?
I'm planning to. Well, I really want to go see A Real Pain. Is the big one that I want to see.
I'm unfamiliar. I don't know what that is.
Jesse Eisenberg and Kyron Culkin. No.
I know who Jesse Eisenberg. I know who Eisenberg is. I don't know who.
Well, the other one is Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that they are brothers or cousins. I'm not quite sure which one. And they go back for a Jewish family member's burial service. Like pretty sure their grandma died or something.
All right.
And so they have this long train trip, and they shenanigans gets into because it's those two people and their dry humor, and so.
All right.
It looked enjoyable, and yeah.
The other thing, since you brought up the Culkins, whatever we're calling them, I think it would be the Culkins. Macaulay Culkin has been added to Fallout Season 2.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting. I was like, I haven't seen Macaulay Culkin in anything in forever, and he was on Red Letter Media for a while, and he did some other stuff, but I haven't seen him in anything in years. So the fact that they're giving him a real acting role on the Fallout series is going to be entertaining. So there's that. Or just stick to the classics. Stick to the classics. Go watch Home Alone, Home Alone 2, and then stop watching the Home Alone movies after that. Really just Home Alone 1 at this point. And then that got dangerous. It's close to being political. I saved it. That would have caused an uncomfortable don't watch Home Alone 2 with your family. Watch Home Alone 1. And I'm not elaborating on why I'm saying that to you. Just stick to Home Alone 1. And then all the other classic Thanksgiving, the Peanuts stuff, all the old stuff. You could go shopping. Maybe save that for Friday. There's all manner of good things. Do not watch that Cowboys Giants game. You will thank me. Your eyes will thank me. Your mental state will thank me. So much no. Then they are giving us a treat with Dolphins Packers. Two fringe playoff teams in prime time. If anyone's still awake, survives the tryptophan coma. That game might poke you with a stick a little. Those are fringe playoff teams, and that there could be some real offense in that game. That game could be fun. There's a real chance that game will be fun. So there you go. That's your Thursday. And then I had to bring this up to some friends of mine, so I'm doing this now because I've noticed people in the public do not seem to be aware of this.
Correct.
There is a Friday game. They did this last year to confuse the living crap out of people. They are doing it again because I don't know why. Money, I assume.
On Netflix.
I'm not even getting into that. I'm not even getting into where it is. There's a Friday game. It's at 2:00 in the afternoon Central Time, 1:00 Mountain Time, for reasons that escape me. And it's
Prime Video. My bad. Netflix is Christmas. So
it's Prime Video. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it is. We are doing Chiefs Raiders.
2 p.m.
You could skip that too. 2 p.m. Central because not everyone was in the same. So it's. You could probably skip that too, considering that I believe it's going to be Aiden O'Connell at quarterback for the Raiders. Yeah, go ahead and probably just skip that bad boy. Don't really need to worry about that. Set your fantasy stuff and then just go do something else. A lot of good Black Friday deals this year, let me tell you. A lot of good Black Friday deals. Best Buy is rolling out the jams. If you need a laptop or a computer monitor, a lot of good deals on that. Also at Micro Center, Amazon's doing their deal. A lot of good deals. Go spend money within reason. Within the scope of reason. Probably don't need to watch that Friday game. Probably good to skip it. Then it's a full slate on Sunday, and I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be rough. Took a peek at those games. It's going to be rough. Chargers have an interesting game. You want to talk about that, Jason? You want to talk about your Charger game? I'm sure you don't want to talk about the Charger game that just happened. I will say predictable. That was a pretty predictable outcome.
Well, when your DBs are unable to attack a tank driving through your line, after they did really good the first quarter. I was super impressed. Kept him contained, and then they're like, "Nope, this hurts too bad. We're done."
Got bowled over by Derrick Henry. Yeah, you got Henry'd. That did happen. And then that kind of just let all the air out of the balloon. I will say they did better than I thought they would do. They made that a competitive event, and you got to respect Harbaugh coming in and whipping up your kind of weird mash unit of a team into something that's borderline respectable. So there is that going on. Losing J.K. Dobbins really hurt. The minute that happened, the running game went out the window. That was the end of that. J.K. Dobbins might be getting himself paid. So you're going to have that issue. And then I will say, if you had a real wide receiver one, if you had T. Higgins to pair with Lad McConkey, you might actually have two receivers that could do something. But Palmer is not going to be the answer. And,
what do you mean?
Well, it was working when he got fouled on every play.
It's amazing how that works.
but that is dependent on them calling the fouls. And then Lad McConkey has been looking good, and Quentin Johnson is droppable. So there you go. That's that game.
He drops a lot.
Yeah. Well, he's also droppable in my opinion. So there but then the Chargers have an interesting game this weekend. That could be fun. One of the good ones this weekend to watch. And then the real prize is obviously Eagles-Ravens. That's the reason for all of it, as far as I'm concerned, because the rest of it's pretty questionable. I'm not going to lie to you. So that's the table for you. And there you go. So we'll start.
I don't know. Bucks Panthers could be a fun one.
No, it can't. I disagree.
Rams Saints.
If the Saints had a team that was borderline healthy, maybe, but that's not happening. You know what's interesting about that, real quick, before we start taking questions, because people are waiting. The running game for the Saints might be worth investing in for that particular game, because the Rams really seem to have a problem stopping the run, and might be an interesting Taysom Hill game. We'll see. We'll get into that as the show goes on.
Colts Patriots too. That's another, it's a trash game, but May could be showing up.
No,
but two rookie quarterbacks.
That game is going to be 16-3. It's going to be it's going to be horrible. No competent anything will happen in that.
Colts Patriots. No, you don't think that there's.
I'm not interested in these slop games. Like there's so much slop. Like you want to like, they're giving you the leftovers here, okay? This is your Thanksgiving. Vikings. This is your Thanksgiving leftovers. Cardinals Vikings could have potential. The games that I'm interested in, I'll tell you the games I'm interested in. Chargers Falcons, because it could be a points festival that might be fun.
Bengals shows up.
Bengals Steelers, because that game is historically fun. That's an interesting one. Cardinals Vikings, depending on which version of those two teams shows up to that game, has the potential to be fun. And then the main event is actually the Eagles versus the Ravens in the afternoon, and then you could just be done for your day. There's about 3 games that I'm actually interested in watching. The rest of it is going to be slop. It's going to be slop. All right, let's start taking questions. Commanders or Lions?
Good question. Lions. They still have Lions as 10.5-point favorites.
I'm not surprised. I have Lions as well. Lions is my 3rd overall defense. So there you go. Happy Thanksgiving, Anthony. Only keep one tight end.
Johnny Smith.
Probably Jonnu. Yeah, it probably is Jonnu. Now that Mike Evans is back, the love affair with K. Otten came to a screeching halt.
Well, and was it the Giants? Didn't they play the Giants, or who did they play last week?
They played the Giants last week.
Okay.
They're playing Carolina.
So, I'm pretty sure they were allegedly really good against tight end, so that might have affected it, but grain of salt, maybe.
You can't really argue with the heater that Jonnu is on right now, and I don't see that stopping because when you have to scheme against the Dolphins, you're obviously going to put a lot of attention on Tyreek Hill. You're going to have to account for Achane, and then you've got to respect Waddle a little bit. So what ends up happening is that Jonnu Smith is just open, and that's kind of where we've arrived. Is that as the fourth weapon, he's punching significantly above his weight class, so it's like it's pretty good overall. So I would keep Jonnu as well, especially with Mike Evans coming back. We knew that the Cade Otton thing was always going to be somewhat temporary. I wouldn't necessarily be like, I have to drop Cade Otton. That's not what I mean. But if you're telling me I can only have one, then I'm going to keep Jonnu. All right. Need two. Full PPR. Warren, Pacheco, Hunt, Taylor. Go to
definitely going to be Hunt. I think I might go Warren too because of the matchup. Yeah. It's going to be Warren and Hunt.
I am playing Taylor because I am not afraid.
Oh, I am terrified.
Well, that's because you're a coward.
Yes. I am scared. I don't like it. It makes me feel dirty.
I am going to play Hunt and Taylor off that list is what I'm going to do. Let's see. All right, pick one. DK, Jaden Reed, Jacoby Myers, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is highly questionable.
So we can cross up the back two.
And then Cade Otton, who we just got done discussing. So I think it's probably going to be DK.
You think it's DK?
Probably for me. I'm going to look it up, but
see.
Yeah, so far.
Oops. Oh, it's not backspace.
Yeah, I'm going to just recommend DK. That's where I'm headed here.
I think I'm going to be scared. I'm going to play Myers. Go on, take my points.
Coward. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Coward. The theme of today. Jason is a coward. Got it. All right.
Yep, I'm taking my points.
All right.
Got bit way too hard the last time, so I'd rather just take my points and go home.
This is the same guy. It's not the same question. It just involves similar things.
Yeah.
Oh, he added a name. Does adding Dobbins do anything for you?
Nope.
No, it doesn't. Okay, we've already answered that. All right. Anthony, Gino, or Kirk? Ooh.
Smith.
Ooh, do not like.
Do not recommend.
I don't like any of that. Yeah, I'm gonna play Geno Smith, but I don't feel good about that.
Nope.
Trying to see if there's anything that might be still available. Oh God, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, there's not a lot of good choices there. All right. Well, it's gonna be Geno, and then we'll get into waiver ads potentially later. But and then MVS or Watson, which is just dart.
The same thing.
Kinda, yeah. I have Watson. I have Watson. Excuse me. I have Watson 2 spots higher, but I will just say this: MVS's matchup is significantly better. So if that means anything to you, then maybe just play MVS. But I would say this is literally like you could literally flip a coin. I have it 2 spots higher. I have Christian Watson. I have them 2 spots apart. So if you want to, you're looking for tiebreakers, MVS's matchup is better. So
the one positive for Watson is that Dobbs is likely out with a concussion.
Likely, yes, yeah, because they're playing on Thursday night. But he's probably.
They said he was in the protocol today, so he did not practice.
No practice. Probably not going to get cleared tomorrow.
That would be my assumption.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me lean Watson, but man, I like the home run swing of MVS right now. It's Shaheed light, baby.
Very light.
Or Shaheed 0.
so light that it's not there. All right. Any news on Purdy?
Nope.
Uh,
Shanahan
not.
is.
No, they say he's going to play, but here's what I'll tell you about what the 49ers injury reports are actually worth. It's about worth is about as much as toilet paper. You could do the same thing with it because the 49ers are the biggest offender of playing games with the injury report in the NFL. They have been playing games with this injury report forever, and this year has been worse than normal. To the point where I think they should. This is not my thing. It's not my place. I think they should be fined. If I was Goodell, I would be fining the 49ers for how they're handling. I would be revoking compensatory draft picks from the 49ers because their injury reports are junk. Junk. You cannot. Shanahan, there's no consequences to Shanahan playing this game. So he knows that, so he does. So that's just the way that it is. Like they are going to play this game for as long as there's no penalty for them to do so. And that's the way that it is. I can tell you that it is Tuesday and I have Brock Purdy at QB 28, baby. So, because I have no information in a real way. They said that he was going to play yesterday. That was the report, was that they came out and said he's going to play. And I was like, cool. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing to me.
Well,
There you go.
okay.
Shanahan again.
Yeah. So, Nick Wagner, beat writer for 32 Beat Writers, said did some light throwing today without issue. So that was yesterday. No news today, clearly, but he'll rest tomorrow and see how it feels as the week goes on.
Yeah.
You love
so
how
that
makes you
means
feel.
absolutely nothing. That means that's worth nothing. That and a dollar is worth 50 cents. That's what that actually is. So
Ooh, 50. That's higher than I'd
I
give.
know. It might be worth a nickel. Like it's not helping you, Daniel. It means nothing. I can tell you that at this point, we've now seen what I needed to see. If Brock Purdy is not the starting quarterback for the 49ers, the only usable 49er is Kittle. The rest of them are all benchable. Even CMC. I'm not saying I would bench CMC because you just literally might not have better options, but everyone else can go ride the pine.
Jennings becomes a flex.
Desperation flex.
Yeah,
Because I don't know.
flex.
Is it going to be Allen again or is it going to be Dobbs? I don't know. No one knows. They'll tell us literally like 3 hours before kickoff. So Kittle is fine because Kittle is the safety blanket for whatever backup quarterback will be in there, and he'll get plenty of work as we saw. So Kittle, you can play. The rest of it, all question marks. You probably don't have better options than CMC. You might not have better options than Jennings. Deebo Samuel goes to the bench. Not you. Deebo's barely hanging on by his fingernails anyway. So it's like, and that's with Purdy. So, and by the way, the 49ers are one loss away from, I swear to God, they will start deactivating people, and that season's over. Like, that season is done. Like, they are basically one loss away from mathematical elimination to a point where, like, they're done. They're going to be done very rapidly, and they're just going to start phoning it in because at that point, you'd rather just have your players healthy. And you'd might as well just start tanking to get a draft pick. You know what I mean? They desperately could use a draft pick. And that's what's going to happen here. The 49ers are if you can't tell, Steve has been very upset about how the 49ers have been handling the injury reports, and he's this is who I work with. Yeah. It's the CMC thing.
Turn off your caps.
Just
I
so
can hear you yelling from over here.
This is all related. This is therapeutic. This needs to happen. You got to let this out. He can't carry this around, or he's literally going to go bald. Like he's gonna have an aneurysm in his bathroom if you don't let this get out at some point. This is all CMC related primarily, by the way, folks. That's what that is. So they're about to be done if they lose like one more game, because they're hanging by a thread. If Purdy can't play, they're going to just start shutting her down. And yes, that has been a joke, the way they've been running those injury reports all year. They should have been notifying people about how hurt CMC was, like, very differently than how they went about doing that. Cost a lot of people a lot of money. What are you going to do? Robinson and Eckler news. All right, this is interesting. Eckler is in the protocol.
Yeah, so he's likely not playing.
Well,
'Cause it's
likely
his
not
second this year.
playing. It's his second or his third actually. I'll tell you. I'll
Pretty
look
sure
that
is
up real
I
quick.
thought I looked it up and I only saw it.
Edwin Porras had a whole thing about this. That's what I'm pulling up. So give me 1 second on that.
And we haven't seen. Well,
scroll up.
I didn't see any updates.
Look, if Edwin is telling you something, that is the gold standard. Okay, like if Edwin is saying it, I take that to the bank. So here you go. Austin Eckler was ruled out with a concussion. His history with that is in 2018 he had a concussion. In 2021 he had a concussion. And Jason, you are right. This is his second concussion of this year. So the hope is that there is enough time between instances that he will be able to pass by next week. Next week is what Edwin is saying. So the odds are you are not going to have Eckler this week, Daniel. And the Robinson thing, hang on, he had a thing about that.
They signed Chris Rodriguez today,
who they had just cut. But here's the thing. Robinson came back. This is also, I'm quoting Edwin Porras, who at FB Injury Doc, by the way. Great follow. We linked to him in our Discord, which you can sign up for in the comments. Hint, hint, hintity, hint, hint, hint. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm, which helps me be here doing this. Hey, look, you know what? If enough people subscribe, I'll shave. How about that? So Brian Robinson came back for a few snaps after his injury, which likely means the x-rays were negative, which means that he is likely looking at a moderate low ankle sprain. There is a chance he could play. There's a chance he could play. I want to be clear about how that's being worded. So Eckler, you're probably just not going to have. Robinson, don't rule out hope yet. You're going to have to just check the injury reports, though, is the way that's going to go.
But don't love it.
Don't love it. He's going to be on a pitch count more than likely. And frankly, okay, like given the way that the
Did you actually see the injury when it happened the second time?
The second time, no. I saw the first one.
Okay. It looks like he either tweaked his ankle, so it looked like a mild sprain, or it was his knee because of how they rolled up.
Well, they're calling it an ankle, so
okay. So likely an ankle sprain, mild. So I doubt if he, like you said, this week maybe.
Maybe
it's a very iffy maybe.
It's a maybe. It's very much a maybe. It's not one of those like maybes that means yes. It's like maybe that actually means maybe. Like we're just gonna have to be patient and wait and see. Is it worth it to drop Cade Otton or I assume
Braylon
Allen? If you roster Breece Hall, I'm just gonna keep telling you no, because if something happens to Hall, God forbid, knock wood, you're gonna need Allen. Also, there's a non-zero chance that they just shut down Breece Hall anyway, given the way the Jets are going. Preserve him for next year when that team tries again with all new coaching and an all new quarterback. And if you want to drop Cade Otton, you can, but I would not feel obligated to drop Cade Otton. You have to give me what you want to drop it for. You cannot ask this. These questions are hard to answer when you only give me half of what you're going to do. You got to give me what you're evaluating it with. Anything to add to that, Jason?
No, that's pretty much where I'm at.
All right. Knicks or Darnold?
Knicks. We're not playing this game.
Yes.
Knicks has legitimately been tearing it up.
Well, it's also Knicks against Cleveland.
Yeah.
And Cleveland's
secondary
defense
is wind.
What's the word for Cleveland's defense? Well, I can't say that word, actually. That word's not PG-13. It starts with an S. It's the word hit. Add an S to it. Hits. Yeah, that's what it is. Pick 2, JSN, McLaurin, Wilson, Douglas. 2 of those options seem.
I think it's still going to be JSN and Wilson. Wilson? Oh, Garrett. Yes, JSN and Garrett. I'm guessing that's Garrett.
It's got to be, right? I am playing JSN.
Like Michael.
I'm playing JSN and McLaurin.
Wilson's still like far and away leading majority of teams, I think all wide receivers and targets. Pretty sure that was the case.
Look, I'll put it to you this way. I'm probably going to wind up on the day playing JSN and McLaurin. That's how I have it. I'm not afraid of Tennessee's defense. I know the Commanders have been struggling, but I'm not afraid of their defense. And with no running game, they're probably going to be a little more inclined to throw. So on the day, I'll probably play JSN and McLaurin. If you want to sit either one of those to play Garrett Wilson, assuming that is Garrett Wilson, which I think it has to be, I am not going to argue with you about that. I have all three of those things rated right next to each other. You can eliminate Douglas. I don't care what Douglas it is. Just eliminate Douglas entirely. It's one of these three, and I honest to God would love to know what your flexes are that all three of those things are not playing. Because you have three top 20 wide receivers. So I would love to know what my flexes are that are so good that I'm only going to play two of those wide receivers and not all three of them. This is not a question. Whatever you posted, it only captured full PPR. So you're gonna have to try again. Looks like we will be doing the wheel.
Woohoo!
McBride or Kelsey?
McBride. Talk about somebody on a heater. Can't score a touchdown, but boy, is he on fire. But yeah, Bo Nix since week 7, from 7 to 12, QB3.
Oh yeah, I have McBride at 1.
Like that's why I can't find.
I literally had to I was like, where is it? And then it's like literally number 1. You can really. And by the way, you cannot make this decision wrong. By the way, it's close enough to where I'd almost consider flexing the other one. For the record, I'd love to know again what are my flexes that I'm not. I might consider playing both of those depending on what my other options are. Is Kincaid worth holding? I don't care. It's tight end. It means nothing to me.
No. Unfortunately,
it's
I'm going to say no.
It's tight end. There's very little in the way of tight end that I think is worth holding. I'll tell you. Oh, it's always good when you got to scroll. I have Kincaid as the tight end 19 season, so no, you can feel free to drop it. Oh. Oh my God. All right. Let's do a real. Let's do a real quick.
Whoa.
This is like
breaking this down part by part.
The definition of playing with fire. Hang on. I have those two ideas very right next to each other in my rankings. I actually have DK at 23 and Jaden Reed at 24.
Yeah, I still think I believe in DK more.
I will tell you this: if with the Jason cowardice level, the Jason cowardometer, I would play DK because that's infinitely safer. And Sauce Gardner has not been Sauce Gardner this year.
Does not matter. Gardner, he's not playing.
He's not Surtain. Yeah. It's like that's not happening right now.
It's not even Gonzalez.
So in reality, where we're at is I would play DK over all of those options. That's where I'm at. I'm trying to see where I have Myers rated. Yeah, I'm definitely playing DK. It would be DK because DK, I feel like the floor on DK is like 9-10 points, whereas the floor on Jaden Reed is 2. And they have similar upside. And Myers is a volume-dependent flex play. That probably will get some volume, but he's a volume-dependent flex play. If he's not going to score, like very unlikely that.
No, even this past week he was like 12 for 120. So, but no touchdown. So you got like 20 points out of him. But what was it really worth?
Well, he was better than 22. I thought it would be, but. I mean, you're probably just going to play Taylor because you have to wait and see who the quarterback of the 49ers is, and you're probably not going to have Robinson, so you're probably going to wind up playing Taylor. The good news about Taylor is that, unfortunately for him, Anthony Richardson is his quarterback, but he does have a good matchup because the New England's the New England Patriots run defense is that word I'm not allowed to say. Hit with an S on it. Hits. It's hits. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the New England Patriots run defense. So you might be okay with.
Really hoping because the
You're
past
really
week
hoping that Purdy gets
Richardson have
cleared.
been hurting.
Yeah, you're really hoping that that Purdy is playing.
Yeah, that 3.5 last week was.
Oh,
woof.
Polo's here.
What's up?
Good
Polo?
to see you, Polo. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Good to see you as always.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. See, proof that the system works. Okay. Neighbor 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's 6. Okay, so pick 4 of these.
Yeah.
Are they all wide receivers? Neighbors? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, all of those are wide receivers. Okay, cool.
So it seems easy to me, but.
Oh well, you're a coward. So are you terrified of neighbors? I assume that's just there's
no, it's going to be Image J and Hopkins actually, because that's what I'm terrified of. Trusting Marvin Harrison, it's a trap.
Oh! I see. You're
not doing it.
You're sitting too. You're doing this the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Because then it's Neighbors, McConkey, London, McLaurin.
How the hell? There he is. Oh, that's what's throwing me. It's MCC, not MCK, by the way. That's not how you spell McConkey.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what's throwing me off here.
MCC.
Yep.
Lade.
And yeah, this actually is pretty easy. Just sit Marvin Harrison and Hopkins. That's your answer. I mean, I go back to I would love to know what your flexes are that we're not.
Yeah, I mean, McLaurin just had a really good week, thankfully.
Well, I think this is.
I don't think it's going to change.
I think this is where we are.
Okay, so McBride.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Daniel! Just take a picture of your team and post it on Discord, please. I can't do this with you. You have Discord access. Take a picture of your team, post it on the Discord for us, and then we will set your lineup because I cannot keep this in my head. It's going to be a really long night if we're going to be doing this because there's too many variables with this. I'm not doing this. To post it in the Discord. Take a screenshot, post it in the Discord. We will set a lineup for you, and I am moving on.
Yes.
Nothing. The Rams suck. That's what I don't know what you want here.
Both Puka and Cup are back, and
yeah, the Rams are not good. They've got no O-line, and their defense is butt. And they've got 2 good wide receivers in Kyren Williams, but that team makes a lot of mistakes. And that's the problem. Their O-line is butt, and their defense is butt.
And Williams really hasn't been killing you as a running back.
He's been not what you're hoping for, but It's kind of like the Breece Hall conversation, where it's he's been fine, but it's he's being limited by the fact that his team is butt. And that's what's happening. And they're losing, so they have to throw it. I'd be more willing to have this conversation if Kyren Williams literally didn't score the other night. You know what I mean? I think we're not living in reality. I think we're hoping for magical Christmas land, and unfortunately we don't live in magical Christmas land. The only people that live in magical Christmas land are the people that roster Amon-Ra St. Brown and Saquon Barkley. Then you live in magical Christmas land. Anyone that's not doing that doesn't live in magical Christmas land, and I think needs to be prepared for some disappointment on a weekly basis, given how this works this year. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about magical Christmas land. I've had to explain this to a lot of people. Oh, I'm sorry. If you roster Jamar Chase, you also live in magical Christmas land. Anyone you want to add to the magical Christmas land conversation? Because I think that's about it. Jason's ignoring me.
No, I was going to say Derrick Henry, but he's had some down weeks too.
See, that's the problem. He has some down weeks because of the system that he plays in.
But
Bijan's
at 35, man.
I understand, but people have been crying about that. No, that's the definition of playing with fire. I want to swear at you, and I'm trying really hard to not do that. But
George
like,
Kittle?
what is your damage? You are a coward all night, and then recommend the riskiest things I can think of. Jason's like a tax accountant that goes base jumping on the weekends. Like he has the most boringest. Look at him. First of all, he looks like he wants to talk to you about insurance, and he sits here and he's talking about like I like volume and Jacoby Myers and I don't want any risk, but I'll absolutely play MHJ and Taysom Hill. Jason's like freebasing crack. Like Jason's like the kind of guy who's like, I don't drink, that's bad for you, but is freebasing crack in the bathroom at a party. Like, what is your problem, bro? Like, you don't make no sense. Like, you're all over the road. Pick a lane. Like your risk tolerances are crazy to me. I'm going to recommend Kirk Cousins and hike my pants up to my chest and talk about Jacoby Myers and volume and recommend all these safe things. And then, oh man, you got to play you got to play Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Taysom Hill. Just
to the moon.
It's insane. Like it's like I work with a lunatic. There's no consistency to anything. You want to talk about Noah Gray some more? You want to just complete the circuit of random BS? This
he's
is?
Scoring.
The minute that you recommend it, he's going to go put up a 2, and you
I
effing know it. That's why you won't recommend it, because we've been
not
down
wrong.
this road 3 times. 3 times I've had to sit through this.
Because
it's the Donald Parham conversation again, where if I hear it again, I'm leaving. And you can just do the show by yourself. I've got more important things to do in my life. I will leave. So that's where we are. 2 wider. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. That makes sense.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving. All right, Jason. To continue the glass menagerie here, who's your quarterback start of the week?
Shouldn't be surprising, but I'm actually going to pick a game for Thanksgiving to enjoy the holiday, and it's one that you enjoy. Tua Tagovailoa, baby, versus the Packers.
Yeah, sure. Packers defense isn't that good.
Well, you say that, but it's been like blowing my mind. They haven't really played anybody good except for Goff, but Goff only put up 12 fantasy points. So like the past 3 weeks, they've actually looked pretty good. And so, but the way that the Dolphins have been moving down the field have really surprised me. They're trying to keep Tua safe, which we understand, and moving the ball with Johnny Smith and, of course, the run game has really seemed to boost Tua's numbers, and it was blowing me away. So I'm going to try and tank him with this. We're going to bring him back down to earth, because the second I recommend somebody, boom. So we're taking him back. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup for him. If he's going to have a big game, especially without Dobbs, this is the opportunity for it.
Okay. I mean, I would argue with you, but like historically that doesn't do much. And I will say I'm not overly I can't overly I don't love it, I'll be honest. I have Tua at QB 17 because I'll let Steve explain. That sums up the last 10 minutes of show. Is really like up into the Tua thing. Because again, like it's just Jason's just got a mirror and a straw, but he's going to church on Sunday and he's got a fully funded 401k and life insurance. I don't understand you. No one does, by the way. He's like the wind. You can't do anything with it. There is a real part of me that hates life and myself.
Because you want to say Will Levis, don't you?
No, I already know what I'm going to say. You're not.
Okay.
No one's going to like this. But there's a real part of me that like is very stubborn and is very, very stubborn and apparently does not learn lessons. because I am going to recommend Anthony Richardson against the Patriots because I have learned nothing. I have learned nothing. I have not learned any lessons. I have learned no lessons. I have learned nothing, and we're going back to the well. We're going back to the well. 2 rushing touchdowns for Anthony Richardson, baby. Lock it in. Lock it in. It's coming.
That's why Taylor is getting that 3.5 this week, baby.
Lock it in. Lock it all in. All of it. I have Taylor lower in my rankings than normal. I've got Anthony Richardson at 13 on the outside looking in because it's the best match. It is literally the best matchup you can have. And Anthony Richardson is bad. Don't watch this game. Go do something.
Calling for a Pierce deep shot.
I'm not even calling for that. I already told you. I'm calling for 2 Richardson rushing touchdowns, and that's all you need. Anything else is gravy. That's all you need. And I think it's going to happen because the Patriots defense is bad. And that's what it is. Now, if this fails, I'm going to do that thing where we never recommend Anthony Richardson ever again for the rest of my life.
That's already the plan.
It's kind of where we're getting to here with this. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of
fire. Too much fire.
I'm rolling them bones, baby. Roll up 7. Like that's what this is. But there's just a lot of bad options this week. There's a lot of really bad options. Streaming this week is hard. There's a lot of bad options. I will tell you this. What?
Will
God, no. Like even Jason over
Drake May.
Jason over here. You need to increase your allocations into your 401k to have a comfortable retirement. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's literally Jason. It's like he's recommending Will Levis, talking about playing Jacoby Myers and taking the points. You don't make no sense. Like you gotta pick a lane. There's no lane being picked. He's all over the road. Jason's drunk driving tonight. He's just
hitting the bumpers, baby.
Yeah, it's insane. Like Jason's bouncing off guardrails. I don't know what's going on over there. There's something in the water. Will Levis does have a good matchup, but that's it. That's the extent of it. He had a good matchup last week, by the way. What did that get you? Dick.
17 points, I think.
Dick. Under 20. Not what you want.
Still counts.
No, Dick. It's bad. Anything under 20 is not what I'm looking for. Anything under 20 is a failure, Jason. That's the deal. But there's a lot of
baby.
There's a lot of
yeah.
I doubt I could eat the amount that makes me want to vomit.
17.1 fantasy points.
I literally doubt I could put that much food in my system.
Just behind Justin Herbert.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. How's that make you feel?
Like I need a shower.
Cooper Rush.
Does anybody have the Men in Black flashy thingy? I could really use that. That would really help me if I could just
delete that.
I'll deal with the consequences to it later. I'm sure I'll have some memory problems. That's fine. Like just give me. I need the Men in Black flashy thingy for that. No, there's just a lot of bad options this week. Like it's bad when you're looking at Drake May and thinking like, maybe Drake May. Like, and that's. I will say this: if by some miracle Sam Darnold was still available, even though it's not an ideal matchup. If you're looking for something that is more safe than any of the things that we're talking about, that would be.
If we're going to do the waiver wire show from yesterday, Russell Wilson.
I hate that too. It's a decent matchup, but
38.3% rostered.
Shares a job with Justin Fields. Don't love it. Not really interested. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. Not gonna do it. And if you get that joke, it's time to schedule a colonoscopy, my friend. So there you go. That's where we are. I'm right there with you. I'll be nice and flushed out for the afternoon on that one. Knicks or Daniels? That's a good question.
Yeah, I felt like I already said who the Commanders are. Titans. Ooh.
Yeah, that's why it's an interesting one because it's a great matchup for Daniels. That's a tough one. I have them right next to each other. I remember how I did this in my rankings. Now I totally did this as a cop out. Yeah, no, this was a cop out because my heart tells me to play Knicks. My heart my heart says you play Knicks against a terrible Cleveland defense. But I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if Daniels ended up having a better day against the terrible, terrible, terrible Titans defense with no running
last
game.
week. Didn't look like it the first half.
Yeah.
But QB1 last week.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I got to go by my rankings though. I have Daniels slightly higher. I'm going to recommend Daniels. I'm going to do the smart thing, and I got to stick to my guns. That's how I had it rated.
Yeah, no, I have Knicks. Again, mostly because slightly safer. They actually, well, neither one of them have a run game, but Knicks is more likely to run in that game.
So, yeah, I got to go with what my rankings say. You know how I roll. So I'm going to recommend that. But if you wanted to play Knicks, I wouldn't be looking at you like you were insane.
Well, and the other reason for that is I also trust that Winston is going to throw the ball. So Browns could potentially score because why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Brian would like to know, do you play Rico Dowdle or Taysom Hill in your flex? And I will tell you what I said to everybody last week and was correct. You never play Rico Dowdle. Never. You never play Rico Dowdle. And I don't feel the need to elaborate on that. So by default, you're going to probably play Taysom Hill. If
that makes you feel good.
Doesn't make me feel good at all.
It's just so difficult to get away from Hill because of how they continue to use him in every facet.
It's the Taysom Hill against the Rams, and the Rams' run defense being really terrible is also helping here. But the problem with Taysom Hill, is, you know what it is: 2, 14, 5, 14, 6, 40. Like, you know what you're getting. It's the mystery box. Could be nothing. Could be a boat. You don't know.
Well, I mean, since week 9, it should have been 12, 13, and then 34.5.
I understand that it's a great matchup for Rico Dowdle, and I still don't care. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. Like, I am not going to sit here and recommend playing Rico Dowdle. Not happening. Like,
so
Jason might recommend that you play that you might play Rico Dowdle. I have zero interest in it.
Yeah. Dowdle, again, it comes down to how you're going to play this. Do you want the upside? Because that's not Dowdle.
Dowdle is
if you want like a 6,
it's 5.
Dowdle.
It's 5 to 10. 10 is a good one. 10 is a good performance from Dowdle. See, Steve understands. This is correct, by the way. As I was saying last week, never Rico Dowdle. All those questions asking about Rico Dowdle, the answer is always never Rico Dowdle. Just write it down. Never play Rico Dowdle. That's the answer. You got it. It'd be embarrassing to see how far down you'd have to go for me to find something that I would play Rico Dowdle over. It would have to be really, really desperation time. Okay. Pick 2: Harrison, Ridley, McLaurin, Jamo, Smith. Okay, well, you're gonna strike Smith, strike Jamo. I think you're just gonna play Ridley and McLaurin. Is probably the answer to this. I will tell you what I think.
That's Devontae Smith, right?
Yes, it would have to be.
I'm assuming, but I was like, could also be Jonnu.
Could be, but he's asking about every other
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Ridley McLaurin.
Yes. 100%. Ridley and McLaurin is what's happening. All right, Jason. Well, we did quarterback start of the week. Who's your quarterback sit of the week?
Another. We're coming back to the, back to the well. Guy
cursing people or trying to reverse jinx them.
Every time.
That is, by the way, that is how Jason does this. He's either trying to curse people or reverse jinx them. It's literally how he does this. It's not scientific. Sometimes it does work. I will say that.
See Jalen Waddle last week. Yeah. Because that worked real well. But this week, Kyler Murray versus the Vikings. Because why not?
Reverse
Talk
jinx.
about a roller coaster.
Reverse jinx on the Kyler Murray. Got it.
Well, I don't know. Okay. Not only is the Cardinals like picking out of a hat what they're going to do, but
It's
you go to the Vikings.
What Cardinals team is showing up?
Yeah.
Because inside of every Cardinal, there are two wolves. There's a playoff team, and then there's one of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL. That's the Cardinals.
It's a wolf or a puppy.
No, puppies. It's a wolf or some
duck.
sort of flightless bird, like a pheasant or something. Even that might be too high up the food chain. Like it's like
A platypus.
what's a really dumb animal that doesn't like do much?
Sloth.
No. There's some dignity in a sloth. There's at least they're cute. There's some dignity. It knows what it's about. At least it knows what it's about. The sloth.
A mole?
Like, yeah, sure. All right, we'll go with mole. Mole's not bad. It's like a wolf and a mole, and that's the Cardinals. It's like there's 2 Cardinals teams, and I've been saying this all year. There is a Cardinals team that, when they are motivated, is like a playoff team, and they are decent. They're not great. They're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Defense looks good. Their offense moves.
They're not going to win the Super Bowl or nothing, but like they're decent. It's a decent team. And then there's like a bottom 5 team in the NFL, and I don't know which one is showing up. It's like they go back and forth with this. There's like a weird motivational issue that happens with that team. I don't know what it is. But you saw it in full display last week, where it's like 2 weeks ago, they go out, they look competent, they win that game handily against a superior opponent. Then last week, in a game they really needed to actually show up and try, they all stayed home and no one gave a crap and they lost. They scored 3 points. I don't understand why we see this, but that's the Cardinals. Is like there's something going on in Arizona. It's something in the water out there that is causing this to happen. So,
well, and on that same thing, the Vikings. I don't know what Vikings defense is showing up. It's the same.
That switches in game sometimes.
Yeah.
Where the Vikings defense will start off looking great and then just stop. And then sometimes they still win those games, just like last week. They had that game pretty well in hand until they didn't. It's like, oops.
So that's why it's
so
also
the reverse jinx.
It's a mystery box.
Yeah, it's the mystery box. It's the reverse jinx on Kyler Murray. I get it. Okay, because I get it. I see what you're saying. The range of outcomes is very wide, which is why we were also talking about at the beginning of the show. That game might be fun. It also might be one of the worst games of the week, and it could be anything in between.
3-0.
Yep, it could be anything in between. No one knows. So you definitely got that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely got that going for you, which is interesting. And then mine is a little bit of a cop out, but I'm gonna take you through here. I'm gonna start you off at Mordor, and then I'm gonna take you to the Shire. Okay, so mine is gonna be Joe Burrow, and I could already hear people saying, Neil, how could you possibly consider benching Joe Burrow? And it's like, okay, look, here's the reality of this. You're probably not gonna end up benching Joe Burrow, but what I'm gonna warn you about is this.
Steelers defense good.
Steelers defense good. Steelers defense top 5 defense in the NFL. Also division game. Might work in Joe Burrow's favor. Might not. Doesn't always work that way.
No O-line for Burrow.
What's that?
Also, no O-line for Burrow.
Yeah, no O-line for Burrow. No defense for Burrow to help him. And that's why that's been working in the fantasy people's favor. But this game has the potential to get real ugly. So I am
hoping Higgins is back.
I'm saying right now that they're probably going to have to throw it 50 times. No, that's not an exaggeration. They literally threw it 50 times last week for those of you who are playing along at home. This is a terrible matchup. And like Joe Burrow's already got 3,000 passing yards and 27 touchdowns and 4 picks. Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind, and they're about to get eliminated from playoff contention. And
Phillip Rivers from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, my concern with this is that this could get ugly, and this has the potential to really backfire. So if I had other options, I would consider them. But even if I had to play Burrow, I'm expecting a lower point total than what you've become used to. I will be surprised if Joe Burrow throws 3 touchdowns and carries you to a top 10 fantasy week this week. You might still have to play him just based on lack of other options. But
any other good games?
I normally have Joe Burrow like right around like 6. Or like 5 even, like near the top. He's the number one non-rushing quarterback consistently in my rankings, and he's having a great year. This week I have him down at like 10, 11, 12. Like he'll finish somewhere in that neighborhood when I do my final rankings and submit them on tomorrow night. That's kind of where we're going to get to. Is like Burrow. I'm a little afraid. You might be playing him if you don't have better options, but I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid of this. Don't love it. All right. Roll with Hawk, or do you want Kincaid, Hill, or Goddard? I'm playing Hawkinson for the record.
It's probably Hawkinson. The closest thing would be Hill, and that's just too inconsistent.
Yeah, the
it also really depends. If Josh Oliver remains out, play Hawkinson. I think they put him on IR. Not 100% though. They was out last week.
The third tight end. I know that.
Yeah. So.
So that happened on Monday. So there you go. So I'm gonna roll the Hawk back out there, especially over Kincaid, who is basically droppable. The next two options are Hill or Goddard. To be honest with you, I'd rather just roll the Hawk.
Yeah.
Tamara knows about. I did not realize. I am so sorry that you were a Cardinal fan. That's gotta be rough.
Sorry. Didn't mean to throw shade, but
it would also explain why you play fantasy football, because got to do something. I say that as a lifelong Bears fan. I'm telling you right now. There's a reason for that. All right. Half PPR. This is a flex question. All right. Hang on. We got to get the flex rankings. Hold on. Hold the phone. That Stevenson thing really hurt last week.
Yeah, them going to Gibson. That was
not happy about anything I watched in that game.
Still thinking of going back to him though.
I mean,
it's close between him and Williams, actually.
God,
that's scary, huh?
Disgusting.
Probably gonna go Williams, aren't you?
Retire. That's my solution. Is I am recommending retiring. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna retire.
Jameson Williams is the answer. Enjoy.
You probably won't.
Yeah. Don't watch it. Just keep on praying.
Hang on. Okay, well, you're eliminating Devonta Smith right off the rip here.
Yes.
Not playing Harrison. Gross. Okay, so here's my answer for you, Daniel. Stevenson is the floor play. If you need to get something, Stevenson will get you something. I actually have him rated the highest, technically speaking, but it's very close between this and some of your other options. But that's the floor play. That's the floor that's the play if you just need points, is Stevenson. I would also play Jameson Williams if I needed a higher ceiling, because he's the one that's most likely to catch a long touchdown at some point in that game. I'm terrified. I'm not playing Devonta Smith. I'm not playing Harrison and Brian Robinson. I'm sorry, buddy, but the volatility on that's too high. So it's if you just need to get
and also injury.
Yeah, if you just need to get some points because you're favored to win and you just need consistent point total, Stevenson is what you want. If you need to punch a little higher than that, play Jameson, but understand that the floor on Jameson is scary and lower. The odds are higher that you won't get anything. So
the odds are not in your favor on that one.
They are not. Running back start of the week, Jason.
Insert Chiefs running backs. Because they play the Raiders. But
all right, so
I don't think
Chiefs,
it matters.
You're just going to put both?
Yeah.
You're just going to put them both?
Because last week I said Pacheco.
I'll allow it.
And it was Pacheco was out.
I'll allow it. That's fine. Go ahead.
But
do your thing.
Honestly, both of them can easily be top 24. Raiders suck against the run. Both Hunt's been.
You didn't need to specify.
Okay. They play the Raiders.
That's it.
Okay. Make it easy.
That's the end of we don't need that really, like anything
also,
else.
O'Connell.
Anything else is just window dressing. The Raiders suck was really just that really sums it up.
FTR.
Yeah, we're good. Careful.
Go.
Careful. I know what that means. I know what that acronym means, sir. Careful. That was a warning.
Bolt up.
Yeah. That's a second warning. That's strike 2. You're dangerously close to headed to the penalty box, sir. You're this close to that penalty box today.
I need some joy. I was very upset all day, so still bitter.
I told you that was going to happen. I warned you.
I knew it was going to happen.
I warned you it was going to happen, that you were going to have
I had so much hope after watching that first quarter. I'm like, oh, we're hanging around. This is okay.
I was watching that first quarter, and I was like, this is all fool's gold. This is all a smoke screen. Sorry, I got distracted. I got distracted there harassing Jason.
RB start of the week.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. There's so many bad RB starts of the week this week because of all the injuries and all the crap. You wouldn't think it would be this hard with everyone playing and no buys. And yet here we are. Wow.
It's hard, ain't it?
It's terrible.
Pick a running back room. You can get them both. How about that?
No, it's all bad. Okay, it's going to be Ray Davis because the 49ers, and I literally think they're going to be beating the 49ers by 40, and Ray Davis will just have the whole fourth quarter to just go out there and do whatever he wants against the 49ers backups after everyone else has officially been ruled out with injury and then been shut down and deactivated because their season's over. How's that grab you?
That works.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
That was pretty cynical even for me. Who's your sit of the week?
Touched on it last week in my fears. So Tyrone Tracy versus the Cowboys.
Interesting. Great matchup.
Yep. That's part of it. But the Cowboys looked okay this past week and that scared me just enough. Also, DeVito did not look good.
No.
Also, the split with Singletary.
Hey, what are you doing, Tommy? Tommy, that's not what they taught you. They told you to never go to the Giants, Tommy. The Giants aren't good. He looked like crap. The Giants looked like crap. He looked like crap. All of it looked like crap. Dayball's going to get fired. That's any minute now. I'm waiting for that. Dayball's going to get fired. That team is in total free fall. They're going to have to start over.
Well, and then we saw, don't get me wrong, Robinson and Eckler both struggle in this. Oh gosh.
I'm just going to leave that up.
Struggle in this game. Neither one of them broke 25 yards. Jeremy Nichols, 3 for 22, is the best runner on the day. Also, Eckler fumbled. If Eckler fumbles, we've already kind of heard Tracy and seen Tracy do it. Could see that happening again, and that's going to tank him pretty hard. But both Robinson and Eckler were held to 4 fantasy points this week.
Yeah, it was definitely ugly. It's an ugly running performance all around. It doesn't suddenly mean, by the way, that the Cowboys' run defense is suddenly good. It's not that. But it's more. I know what you mean. It's more the Giants are scary because it's just total free fall for the Giants. The Giants is just. It's tough to trust any Giant at this point. With DeVito.
Yeah, potentially neighbors, but even that
it's just with
real good match of last
when
week.
Tommy is at quarterback, it's very risky to start anything. Cratered Wandale, he had 9 fantasy points, which isn't the end of the world, but
caught all 5 of his targets.
It's not what you're looking for, though. All the rumors about they'll use the tight end. Nope. That. What they'll do is get their pants pulled down and spanked in front of a national television audience is what they're going to do. Yeah, there is that. So Steve raises a good point from the audience over here. Last week was definitely the week that drives home the point that division games are hard to predict, and you're going to get some weird outcomes. Because last week you had the Browns beat the Steelers in a snow globe in Cleveland, which should not happen, but it's a division game, so things get weird. And then you had the you had Dallas beat Washington, which should not have been possible. And it's like, but it's a division game, and those things get weird for the reason that kind of Steve is articulating. And then you had
Also,
the
this is a
Titans.
division game.
Right. This is also a division game. So you had the Titans beat Houston. That should not be possible because the Titans aren't good, but it's a division game. So weird things happen in these division games. The reason that you bring this up is because this Giants Cowboys game is a division game. And even with that, I still can't bring myself to pick the Giants. That's how like the amount of free fall. But this is where I'm saying, like, the rumors of Tyrone Tracy's death might be a little bit exaggerated, but it's a division game. So it's like, it's hard for me to recommend. I'll tell you right now, it's hard for me to recommend anybody in that game that isn't named CeeDee Lamb.
Potentially Schoonmaker if Ferguson remains out.
Maybe. If you're a gambler, go ahead. But there's a lot of division games this week that are weird. There's a lot of weird.
Very nervous about all of it.
A lot of weird stuff happening with some of these division games. So you got that
Packers,
going.
Lions.
Packers do not play the Lions. Packers play the Dolphins. You're thinking of the week ahead.
Oh, dang it. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Lions, Bears.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson plays the Bears and has his worst game in 2 seasons. Like, last week was like that. That was last week. And there's some of that happening this week. With the Giants and Cowboys disaster that's likely coming. The Steelers are going to play the Bengals, which makes me nervous about all the words I said about Joe Burrow, because that's what should happen. But it's a division game, so who knows? Joe Burrow might throw 4 touchdowns. That's why I lowered him a little bit, because it's a bad matchup. But I didn't crater him, because it's like, you can't. It's a division game. That's why I also started this by saying that game might be fun, because it's a division game. We don't know. So it's a division game. So you got that going for you. So there's a lot of interesting sit options this week. By the way, the one that I am gonna channel my inner Jason is the one that I've had here, and it's James Conner, because James Conner's usage has been really frustrating. They're really trying to work in more Trey Benson. It's almost like James Conner's getting old, and they don't want to give him the full workload anymore, and they're trying to see what Benson can give them, and Benson's actually been okay. So he's been serviceable. It does kind of set the table for the idea that Conner's going to be 30 years old and probably won't be back with the Cardinals next year. So you got, well, he's already 30 years old. He'll be 31. So you got that idea. Conner is started to basically be relegated to passing down duty, which is very frustrating. So I'm going to channel my inner Jason and try to reverse jinx him. But the way the wind is blowing on Conner is the ceiling that Conner had for those huge games even earlier this year is getting lowered dramatically to where now he's kind of becoming like a flex play. Like, he's kind of falling down into flex play territory because he's just having his job carved up. It's very annoying. And I've also wondered if maybe he is secretly hurt. And they're just not. They're doing a Niners, and we're just not talking about it.
No. Yeah, and Benson's literally just gashing people.
He is.
It's like the Irving White situation.
Benson,
that's what it is. It's a lesser Irving and White.
It is a little bit lesser of that idea. Benson next year is going to be very interesting to try and rank for fantasy purposes and evaluate. We're going to have to see how that shakes out. We're going to need to see who else gets added to that team.
DeMarcado is not the answer. Is that what you're saying?
Never was. So we did that. Tua or Murray? I think we already covered this. Didn't you say Tua was your start of the week?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you to play Murray, and I don't love it. That's what I'm going to do.
When I actually go to my rankings, yeah, it's Tua.
All right. Shakir, Meyer. Oh God. Pick 3. So let's see here. So
Sutton.
Well, Sutton is 1,
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm like, Sutton is 1. He is starting for you no matter what. Who do the Bills? Oh, Bills play probably Shakir. Then it gets interesting. Do I go?
Okay. Oh wait. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna play Sutton, Adams, and Reed is what I'm gonna do. Reed because of the injury to Dobbs. That's where we're at. And I think they might actually need to throw to win this game.
Okay.
I'm taking my shot on my deep shot, Jason. I'm not a coward, unlike you, who's going to recommend Jacoby Myers and Mooney and Shakir because I want my points. Did I do it? Did I do
No,
it?
it's Sutton is our clear 1. That's the one we agree on.
So we haven't totally lost our minds. This is a.
But I am then going to go Shakir and then Reed.
Oh, so we agree on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Myers is close, but I'm guessing that he sees McDuffie and Bowers is the one who really has been.
Okay.
Also, division game.
Okay. I can't necessarily disagree with the idea that if you want to play Shakir over Adams, it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. But if you want to do that,
Adams is like black ice.
There's been some good games in there. Rico
caused a lot of wrecks though.
Rico, Taysom, or Pop. Well, sometimes you just do a flip. You know, it's fine. Rico. What is Pop?
Douglas. Demario.
Oh, okay. That's a new one for me. Well, it's never Rico Dowdle, ever.
Douglas is definitely your safe play, but it's just, again, I think it's too difficult to get away from Taysom right now. 3 games where he should have had touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to play Taysom Hill. Because Demario Douglas, I agree with you. Demario Douglas is your floor play. If you just need 10, if I need 10 points and I need them, then we play Demario Douglas because he will get me my 10 points. But if I don't need 10 points and I need like more than that, and I'm willing to risk getting significantly less than 10 points, then it's the Taysom Hill mystery box for sure. Steve agrees. Taysom Hill mystery box. That's what we're doing. We're gonna sweep it. Yeah, no kidding. Must win. Ridley, Waddle. Okay, this is all wide receivers. So hang on.
Definitely gonna be more in Ridley. Outside of that, do I trust Waddle again?
I
don't think I do.
I will eliminate Wandale and Adunze right off the rip. Just take those out.
That leaves you with 3.
So it leaves me with 3. Yeah. No, so it's like we're not playing Wandale because of who his quarterback is, and Adunze is like a moonshot. And you've got both Bears guys. So of the 2 Bears guys, one of them I would much rather deal with than the other. So it's your first 3. That's what I'm going with.
I'm going to skip Waddle and go Wandale. I don't care what happened last week.
Coward.
Yes. I reverse jinxed him last week. I'm not doing it again this week. He finally showed up. I have to see it again.
Pick 1. Super flex. May, Richardson, Rogers.
May.
Richardson, baby! Like that's exactly what it is. 2 rushing touchdowns. 2 rushing touchdowns. 2 rushing touchdowns. That's exactly what I'm gonna be doing all day. Hawkinson or McConkey? That's an interesting question. That's a legit question right there.
I'm gonna go Hawkinson just because after this past week with Johnston, I think that they're going to try and feature him to get his confidence back, which terrifies me.
I'm playing McConkey. He's just been too
So
consistent
good.
recently and good. Like, and he's changed my mind a little bit. When they drafted him, I was like, who the bleep is that? And then, and why is he tiny? And
Georgia, baby.
And also, why does he have that haircut? That's not related to his football ability, but it's like all of those things. And then I was like, why do all the Zoomers have the same haircut? And then I thought back to us millennials and what we looked like when we were younger, and I'm like, never mind. I'm not. Never mind. I remember.
Don't want to get into it.
I remember those pictures. Never mind. We're not posting those pictures. I remember that. It was 2005, and Linkin Park was the most popular band in America, and everybody dressed like Chester Bennington. God rest his soul. Let's just say that there's some pictures of what my hair used to look like around that time, and there you go. It's also like, talk about yourselves for a second. Jason, you see that Sonic commercial where they have that guy with the old phone and the puka shell necklace and the hair,
No.
and the bowling shirt, and every time I see that commercial, I'm like, that is so accurate. I am in this picture and I don't like it. I don't look like that currently, obviously, but there was a time I had that exact. I owned that exact outfit. Like, no, I absolutely dressed like that in high school. I had that exact outfit, and I was like, I am in this picture, and I don't like it. And I do laugh at. I don't like change, and I'm like, oh God, there's photographic evidence of that. Like,
nope. High school for me, I was more into.
I'm not from Kansas, Jason.
Yeah, I was into Rob Zombie and Eminem, so it was very much hoodie, shorts, chain wallet, Jinko.
Yo, chain wallet, Jinko jeans for sure. Faygo soda, magnets. How do they work?
2-liter Mountain Dew in the back pocket worked out great.
Yeah, magnets. How do they work? You know, all that fun stuff. Pogs.
Fat Farms.
Fat Farm. I remember Fat Farm. I do remember that. I didn't own any Fat Farm.
Had the different colors.
I know a lot of people that own Fat. I didn't have any of that.
That's where all of my mowing money went.
I definitely had Jinko jeans. 100% had Jinko jeans. That 100% did happen. Which they've brought back, by the way. Never let any bad fashion idea die, is what I say, right? Bring it all back. They've brought that back, and they are charging an insane amount of money to look like a tent. That's basically what it is.
It was our version of parachute pants.
Very much so.
Except for you could hold a 2-liter in the back pocket.
Oh God! Oh, you could sneak so much crap into concerts in those, which was literally the point, by the way.
Still gonna be Flowers for me.
I'm gonna play Pickens.
That's a good call.
If you wanted to play Flowers, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh my God. The problem is that they both have bad secondaries. Philly's secondary is bad, and the Bengals secondary.
Keon Mitchell's been coming on.
I trust Pickens to be able to outrun the terrible Bengals secondary just this much more. That's kind of where I have him rated. Oh dear. Tillman, Irving. Okay.
Definitely.
We're gonna be eliminating some things pretty quickly here, I think.
I'm also playing London.
So this is a flex because she's got Bucky Irving in here.
Well, I'm definitely playing Irving.
Irving, I think, is the thing I want.
Top 5 running back. This week. Yes. Top 5. Especially after his last outing where he just demolished.
So she's going to play London. Okay, you're playing London, so don't worry about that. Honestly, I hate to tell you.
You want Tillman?
No, with the concussion, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Oh, yeah.
I'm scared with the concussion of Tillman right now. I'm not even convinced he gets cleared, and even if he did, he's looked like crap for the last 2 weeks, and he's probably going to have Surtain draped all over him. Unless they put Surtain on Judy, but I don't know.
That would
be how they're gonna go.
That would be so funny though.
I don't know how this is gonna work. Like, I have no idea. This is where I need Mason. Mason would know the answer to this, likely.
Yeah.
You're playing Irving.
Ask tomorrow.
You're gonna play Irving. That would be a good question for him tomorrow. You're playing Irving, and you're gonna play
Mooney.
London for my money. So you're correct about playing London, and then one of these slots goes to Irving. Honestly, I'm probably just playing. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and play both Falcons.
Yeah, because Debo
Tillman terrifies me. Tillman terrifies me, and Samuel is like, no. Like I'm not really interested in playing Debo Samuel right now. He's been killing people.
Yeah,
I speak from experience on this. As someone who has Debo Samuel, it's not been good. That's just not, and we still don't even know who the quarterback is. So yeah. I would just play both Falcons at this point. Don't feel great about it. But that's what I would do.
Both Falcons and Irving. That works.
Yeah, both Falcons and Irving is going to be.
I forgot about Tillman's.
Yeah, Tillman with the concussion. Scary.
Otherwise he would be my play. I wouldn't care.
Jason, remember that game I showed you on Sunday where I was going to lose?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I won because of Saquon Barkley.
Oh my gosh!
I came back literally because of Saquon. Saquon. You've never seen them in the same place. We can't prove that Steve is wrong. It's very possible. Flowers and Pickens. Yeah,
that makes it easy.
We've already been through this.
Much easier.
Yeah, much easier. All right, Jason, who is your wide receiver start of the week?
I was just updating to make sure that I had that Tillman in concussion protocol.
Oh yeah, good idea.
I was like, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he's still in the protocol. He didn't clear today, and the issue with that is that he doesn't play until Monday. So if he doesn't clear until Monday,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the good news is that more than likely what's going to happen is that you're probably going to get an answer on Friday. He's either going to clear on Friday, maybe Saturday, but more than likely Friday they'll make a decision. He's either going to clear Friday or he's not. And then at that point, that decision gets made for you. I can tell you that the other scary thing about Tillman is what we discussed. I don't know who Surtain is shadowing in this game. And if that is Tillman, I got to tell you, Tillman does not have the raw he does not have the raw skill set to outduel Surtain. So there, I was trying to think of a nice way to express that idea because I do think Tillman is not a terrible player. It's just outclassed by Surtain. You know what I mean? Like it's not his fault per se. You know what I mean? Anyway, have you made your update? Do you want to do your wide receiver start of the week now?
Yeah, I was just making sure you got through your little speech.
I was stalling for time so that you could make your update.
No, it's still so wide receiver start of the week. We talked about how good Sutton's matchup is, but staying in that game, going to the wide receiver 2 for the Broncos, Devon Vele versus the Browns.
It's a pretty good choice
because all the wide receiver, second receiving option on the teams have put up double-digit fantasy points against the Browns outside. Well,
he's also been coming on. They've been talking about how much he's learning the system. Nix likes him. He's still learning to trust him. So Sutton is still the wide receiver 1, but if there is a wide receiver 2, Vele has kind of separated from the rest of them, and like little Jordan Humphrey's not playing as much as he used to, and thank God for that. They're using Mims more, but Mims is still like a gadget thing. He's not really the wide receiver 2 on the team. He's kind of like their version of Elijah Moore. Like he's like they're using him in certain packages, and also he plays special teams. So does Moore. So that's what it is. So
honestly,
there you go.
You just put Broncos wide receiver here.
Vele though is a good one. Vele's a good one.
I liked his route percentage last week. His snaps keep going up, and
and he's actually catching the ball when they throw it to him, which is always a bonus. You know what I mean? He's not just getting targets; he's actually hauling them in.
Yeah, double digits the past 3 weeks.
And for me, I'm gonna revert to type, Jason. We're reverting to type. Pittman. Woo!
Terrifying.
We're doing it. It's already done. Yep.
Nope.
15 fantasy points in PPR last week. Looked like he's running better. The back looks like it's healing. They popped that finger back in, and no downs. The minute downs went down in that game, it became Pittman time, which is a fabulous time for Michael Pittman apologists like me. He's outside flex range. I think he could get back into flex range. I have Michael Pittman ranked above Deebo Samuel. Woo! Like,
that's terrifying.
Yep, we're doing it. Pittman. 2 rushing touchdowns and Pittman. 2 rushing touchdowns and Pittman. We're doing it. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm not gonna lie to you people. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. I've been punchy all day.
Terrifying.
I've been on one, as the kids say, all day long.
Again, my lone worry remains Christian Gonzalez being on Pittman. That's it. That's the only thing I'm worried about. When he's on him, he likely won't have a whole lot of success.
We'll see, and we'll see how it goes.
Also, targets from Richardson scares me.
All of it. It's all bad. It's all bad. But
I
hate all my other options. Fine. You want my backup choice? He's too high. He got moved up. No, my backup choice was going to be Addison, but he's moved up too high because people have updated this. So no, we're not even going to get into the backup. That's what we're doing. We're sticking by it. Steve feels obligated to point out that he is correct. I am not referring to some sort of Aaron Hernandez situation. Good clarification there from Steve.
He means figuratively.
Free plug for that. Nope. There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's probably what it is. All right, Tamara Johnson.
Johnston.
Waiver wire.
Not enough usage last week for Thielen. He was, I think, on a third of snaps.
Where do I even have Thielen? No, it'll be Johnston. And this is very narrative-y, but they're probably going to try and get him the ball to not crater what's left of his little fragile confidence.
Well, when you're going up against a guy that you should have drafted.
Yeah, well.
It really embarrasses you.
Yeah, well, your team likes to make those types of questionable decisions, don't they? And maybe they'll actually spend money and get T. Higgins in the offseason, but that's going to require spending actual money, and they don't like doing that. They don't like spending actual money on things like that unless
there's a reason that we're likely getting Javonte Williams, paying J.K. Dobbins, or
paying J.K. Dobbins is probably happening. That's probably actually going to happen. Yeah, I do think so. Because they've seen he's not going to get that much. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to do that. But I don't know what J.K. Dobbins' market is as a free agent. It's probably not great. And for them, they'll have to pay him like this much money. And that'll be great. And you've seen what their running game was like the minute he doesn't play. It immediately goes backwards at 100 miles. It's terrible.
Yeah. Hassan Haskins and Gus Edwards is not the answer.
If you want to keep Hassan Haskins to play special teams, I don't care.
No, Darius Davis is the only person that we need on special teams.
All right. Well,
because he is amazing.
You literally can't just have one guy on special teams. That
him and Brendan Rice in. We can keep the other rookie.
Well, Harbaugh, for whatever reason, really likes to use Hassan Haskins as his third running back and
special teamer
special team guy. And that's just, and since Harbaugh likes it, and you've already made your bet on that one, that's what we're doing here, bud. I hate to tell you, hate to be that guy, but what I think and what you think don't matter. What Harbaugh thinks actually counts a great deal. And Harbaugh seems to like Haskins, and I'm looking at that every week. Why is Hassan Haskins on the field? And then they just keep doing it. Goddard or Smith?
Jonnu.
Oh, he probably does mean Jonnu. If you mean Jonnu, then yes, I agree. Jonnu by a considerable
leaps
margin,
and
actually.
bounds.
Yeah. If you meant Devontae, which is where my brain went, then it's a question. Actually, it's a real question. But he probably does mean Jonnu Smith, and it's Jonnu Smith by a country mile.
I know. I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's definitely has to be tight end."
Damn.
Nope.
Tamara plays in an adults league with deep benches and 16 team PPR league. That's awesome. I love leagues like that. This is where Polo knows a lot about Michigan football that I don't know. Haskins. Good luck with that. Good luck with
Not
that.
happening, bro.
Yeah, good luck with that. That's like when you start talking about the Jets winning games. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Not against the Ohio.
Yeah, Haskins going to Michigan, suddenly it all makes sense. This all starts to make sense. That I actually was going to postulate that as a theory, and I was like, I don't actually care enough to go through that. Yeah, standard RB, free agent, 3 years. That actually probably is what'll happen. 3 years, 21 million, spread out at about 4 million per plus incentives, right?
Yeah.
Something like that to be on your. No, it's going to be 3. It'll be 3. It'll be 3, 21 million for that's what it'll be. They're not that smart. Your team isn't that smart. They'll do the full 3 years, 21 million, and he'll be on the Chargers, and then they'll draft a guy to go with Vidal, who they won't play. They'll waste the draft pick to go with Vidal. They won't play any of it, and then they'll let Gus Edwards go, and then they'll play Haskins and Dobbins, and maybe one of the 2 running backs could maybe do something. That's what it'll be. Steve's correct. Oh, okay. I forgot about this. The 5 TD game in 2020 in college. I do remember this. They'll just sign all the running backs and then only play Chuba. I love it. We'll sign all the running backs at the Panthers and we'll just play Chuba. I love this idea. This is a good idea. I am here for this idea. Did we do? I think we did all the questions. No, we didn't. Here it is. Jared wants to know: Tyreek, Tracy, DK, or Debo? That's a good question.
DK.
I think it is DK. Yes, I am going to play DK. If I was evaluating another option, by the way, it would be Tyreek Hill. The only thing that scares me about Tyreek Hill in this game is that it's been really, I was going to say inconsistent, but that's the wrong word. It's been actually very consistent for Tyreek Hill, and he just keeps getting a 10. And it's like, he's obviously hurt is the problem with Tyreek right now, and he's trying to play through it. And I think DK offers a greater ceiling. So there you go.
Looks like we will be getting Khalil Mullins then for next year.
Oh, we're looking at Michigan players. We're looking at Michigan players. It's actually
I was looking at Michigan running backs.
It's actually probably smart. Like, how long was he there? Was he wasn't like some sort of transfer portal guy or something? He was actually there in the Harbaugh years. Because you got to check that.
Oh, I guess that's fair, huh?
If he was a transfer portal guy, it won't happen. But if he was actually there for a couple of years under Harbaugh as like a freshman, there's every chance.
Out of Massachusetts Player of the Year. Nope.
We did that
3 consecutive Big Ten titles.
There you go. He was on the bench. And yes, I did see this. The cops literally did not show up, and they just dismissed the whole Tyreek Hill thing. I thought that was kind of funny. It's also kind of crappy.
He needs to countersue.
No, what I mean is be a man. If you're gonna do that, I'm sorry to the cop. Be a man. Show up.
Yeah.
Like don't take the.
Tyreek needs to countersue. He needs to get paid.
I'm not a lawyer. I refuse to wade into that arena. I refuse to wade into whether or not someone should sue someone for something because I am not a lawyer and I do not pretend to be one. I may or may not pretend to be a doctor, but I will not pretend to be a lawyer. There you go. All right, we did that. And
it seems to be exactly what they need based on this report.
Oh, it's Dynasty? That explains so much about Dynasty's a different animal. We are more than happy to help with Dynasty. I've played in Dynasty for years at this point. I absolutely love it. But when you take over an orphan, you do got to build in the idea that it's going to take you a year or two to get it to the way
Or
you
3.
want it. I'd say it's 1 or 2. If I haven't fixed it by 3 years, I'm kind of looking for the door. By 3 years, what I have questions
Depends on
about
how
my
bad
problems.
it is.
Well, that's the thing. If it's really bad, then I actually think I feel better about it because then I get good draft picks. Oh, we did that. Yeah,
No?
there you go.
Shut
There
up.
you go. There you go. Jason's over here like, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. No, we're first round next year, baby. It's Mullings.
Oh, wow. It's a shot call from Polo.
Oh, God.
I will remember this.
That would actually be okay, though.
I'll remember this. Colston Loveland. I remember that. I'm filing this away. Okay. We'll see how that goes. We'll revisit this in the future. I'm interested in this. I'm interested in what the propensity for Harbaugh to actually draft, because Haskins isn't a draft thing. He's out there in the league already, and you pay him the NFL equivalent of a ham sandwich to come play special teams for your team. It's like, that's not really that big. But starting to use draft picks on this idea again and again and again, there's to the point where there's a trend. That'll be interesting because I know it's already happened. So we'll see how that goes. Jason, while we wait for more stuff, real quick, who's your wide receiver sit of the week?
Again, because we're not sure. Juwan Jennings versus the Bills. I'm just overall terrified of that team.
I'm just gonna say wide receiver.
Yeah.
San Francisco wide receiver, not pass catcher, but wide receiver.
Yeah, because again, Jennings looked the best.
Yes,
that's not saying a whole lot.
He had a 9 in PPR. That if you saw how he got it, you wouldn't like it. If you just saw the 9, you might be like, okay. But if you saw how it had to happen, you wouldn't like how he got the 9. The way he got that 9 was very ugly. Okay. I would just expand it to 49ers wide receiver. Not pass catcher.
Debo was high enough.
No, he's not. But it's the name. But it's the name. People know the name, and they have high expectations. And I'm telling you right now, put all that out the window. It's Kittle. It's McCaffrey, because you probably don't have better options, but you might. And then, honest to God, I'm done after that. Kittle is fine. I'm good with it. I even CMC, I might be looking at what I have on my bench. But you're probably going to have to play CMC due to lack of better options. And then after that, I'm backing away. Like, now, if Purdy is playing quarterback, if Purdy plays quarterback, I'm willing to play Jennings. But still probably no on Debo. Like,
it's scary.
Debo has been just wrecking your fantasy team. All right. Well, that's an interesting situation. I actually had that jotted down to just do that. So we kind of agreed, but you and I are not legally allowed. We're contractually obligated to disagree on this show. So I have to pick again. And picking again will require picking Jalen Waddle.
Love it.
Yep. That's what we're doing. I really genuinely agree with the 49ers thing is a tire fire. Stay out of it. Unless it's George Kittle. But okay, I understand that against the Patriots that Waddle had a nice point total. He finished with 24 in PPR. Let me explain to you. He had 9 targets. He ain't gonna get 9 targets, and they're not playing the Patriots again, by the way. So there's that. So there's that deal. So I am back to being scared with them playing the Packers. And he has been killing you. He's been brutal. So I'm back to sitting Waddle in this case this week. He goes right back on the bench. And there you go. So we're gonna start pivoting into. We'll do the last couple questions, Jason, and then we're gonna do the wheel of tight ends, and then we're gonna be done. Okay. He's not.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
definitely not. Yeah, we can do that. Only looking at players that are going into Michigan. coming out of Michigan this year.
Oh, I see. So we're doing that show. All right, we can do that show. Hang on. We'll do that show. Here you go. I'll put it back up. Yeah, Haskin was drafted by the Titans and yeah, picked up. No, yep, we know. I remember Haskins with the Titans when he was terrible, and they were trying to say he would be the heir to Derrick Henry, and I was like, no, honey, no, honey, no, he won't.
Yeah, I was looking at Josiah Stewart, Khalil Mullen.
Yeah. Okay, so that's been
Loveland.
pinned. Polo's comment has been pinned to the NCAA chat on our Discord. So there you go, Polo. We will circle back to that in the off season because we're always looking for off season content. Glitchy wants to know: should you drop Otten for Taysom Hill?
Sure. Home run swing, baby. Let's do it.
I have Taysom Hill one spot higher than Cade Otten. That is not a ringing endorsement. Okay. I will say the ceiling is a lot higher for Hill. The floor for Otten is a lot higher. Don't come crying to me when Taysom Hill puts up a 4. Okay. You have to know what you're getting. It's a 4 or it's a 40. There is no in between on these ideas. It is one or the other. Whereas Cade Otten, the 4 was tasted bad. Not going to lie. That 4 tasted bad given how consistent he was. So if you're looking for upside, I have no problem cutting Otten for Hill at this point. I have no interest in Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think that's the luckiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life is the last 2 weeks of that, and I'm not interested.
Him and MVS, baby. That home run swing you're looking for.
No.
Running a lot of routes.
Gross.
For their team and on the field a lot. Just run down the field, their hand up.
I refuse to believe in any of that. I also refuse to believe in this as a consistent thing. I think this is the second luckiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This is what happens when you have a team that has to sell out to stop Travis Kelce, because I'm convinced if it was Noah Gray out there by himself that he would just put up a 4 every week. So, okay, let's do this way, Jason. You have Cade Otten. Of the following list, what would you be most inclined to drop Cade Otten for? Ready?
Okay.
Taysom Hill, Westbrook-Akine, Noah Gray, Keenan Allen, or Pittman?
It's probably Allen. I'm starting to believe in that offense, and he's seeing targets.
I assume this is a rest of season question. I think it's a rest of season question. I'm not sure if this is a week 13 question or if this is a rest of season question. So I'm assuming that it's ROS. And that's how I'm going to answer it.
Yeah, because then it's probably Hill. Westbrook has a really nice rest of season.
Okay, so it's rest of season. So ROS. Cool. So
let's see. There's rest of season control.
Okay. My answer is Taysom Hill. My answer is the Taysom Hill mystery box.
Ooh, really good schedule. It's not so much that, it's just one, it's Keenan Allen. So I'm very biased.
Yeah, you're not objective in this arena. But Jason, you know how much you love Taysom Hill and the crazy strength of schedule the Saints have the rest of the way. You know you love it.
I do, but if I was going to do just on strength of schedule, it's Westbrook, and it's not close because it's the best for wide receivers. It's just the volume's not there for him. And also trusting Will Levis.
Yeah, that's my main issue. I don't trust anyone who puts mayonnaise in coffee as a general rule.
Ooh.
It's what he does. That's not a joke.
No.
That's a real thing. Like, that's why he's sponsored by Hellman's, Jason. Do you not Do you not know about Will Levis?
I
His
still think I
disgusting,
have to go
his
Allen
disgusting
because their
behavior.
rest of the season is just decent.
All right, I say Taysom Hill. Jason says Allen. Decide for yourself, Glitchy. But either way, we're both recommending you can go ahead and cut on.
Pollard.
That's a good question, actually. That's
Assuming that Spears remains.
yeah. Hang on. Oh, it's rest of season. Oh, whoops.
That's what you like to hear.
I was typing in my tight end rankings. That's why I can't find it. I was like, why can't I find this? And I'm like, no. I have Pollard slightly over White. I have him about 5 spots over White. Mostly because Pollard's getting more consistent usage, and I'm not really scared of Washington's defense, to be perfectly honest. Like they're fine, but Washington is one of those fraud teams that is knocking around the NFL right now. There's a few of them. Jason's a fan of one of them. There's a few like they're gonna go to the playoffs, but they're like fraud teams. They're not actually good. For my money, there's 5 NFL teams that are actually good.
You might win a wild card game, but
you might win a wild card game and get lucky. And then same thing with the Commanders. They might win a wild card game and get lucky. But outside of that, for my money, there's 5 good NFL teams right now. 5, and that's it. Eagles, Lions, Ravens, Bills, and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs is a weird one because the Chiefs aren't actually that great, but Andy Reid deserves to be coach of the year. And it's not close because he has coached that crappy mash unit of a team to like a 10-1 record or whatever. And it's unbelievable. And the only good player they have is Patrick Mahomes. And Travis Kelce looks like he's like minutes away. 4.5 is correct. 4.5. I'm not allowed. It's hard to do that. But yeah, there's 5 good NFL teams. And I have no idea what you're talking about, but I think it might be the fact that you and I have spent in the history of our lives way too much time around each other, and we have a tendency to think in a similar manner. Not always agree on everything, but similar manner. But yeah, Andy Reid needs to be coach of the year. That award is already won, as far as I'm concerned. There is no need to continue debating that. I don't care. They could lose all the rest of their games, Jason, and Andy Reid is still coach of the year just for getting them to this point, because Travis Kelce looks like he is eminently the Grim Reaper is right behind Travis Kelce. He's almost there. Like Kelce's going to be done soon, and that team is got problems. Like especially with Rashee Rice getting hurt and then getting suspended for the beginning of next year because people have forgotten about that. Pacheco getting hurt, it killed them. Like that team is bad. Like it's not actually that good. There you go. Yeah, they probably would be in a just universe where the officials weren't also helping them, because that is happening.
Well, they also said that in 1 square games, if you flipped it, they are 8-2. No, 2-8.
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. They're like a 500 team. It's like a 5. They should be like a 500 team if there was justice in the world. But they're, as we know, wish for that all you want. But that's where we are. Where it's like that team is not that great. But yeah, there's a handful of good teams, and then there's like the couple pretender teams. Like the Chargers is a pretender team. The Broncos is a pretender team. Like they're okay. They might win a game. You know what I mean? But like it's fine. Like there's what's that?
The Bucks.
I don't even know if the Bucks is a pretender team. Like that defense is bad. Like legitimately bad. Just flat out bad. What's the Bucks' actual record offhand? I actually don't know it offhand. Are they?
I feel like they're 4-7.
Exactly, but that's not what I mean by pretender team. I mean teams that have a winning record is what I mean by pretender team. Playoff team. The Vikings is a good example. The Vikings is a pretender team that's going to get pants because they do that every year. The Packers is a pretender team that's going to go to the playoffs and get pants because they do that regularly themselves.
The Texans
is a good example of a pretender team. The Chargers, the Broncos, these are your pretender teams that are going to go into the playoffs. Maybe they'll win a wild card game, but then they're going to run up against a real opponent and get their pants pulled down and spanked in front of national television. Your Chargers proved that when they had to go play the Ravens, one of the actual good teams. And it's like, yeah, kind of thought that might happen. Sorry, but At least, hey, at least the Chargers have made progress from where they were the last couple years, where it's like, because that wasn't working. That wasn't working like at all. They needed to do something different. It seems like they've at least got.
No, the defense. I mean, we need somebody that is 6'2", 230 to hit a guy who's 6'2", 230 coming through the line. It's like you need Khalil Mack just following Derrick Henry back and forth for the entirety of the game.
That might have helped. That might have helped because, yeah, Derrick Henry.
Closest matchup we got that
Derrick Henry just took that game over. They had no answer for it.
Well, and you saw who he's hitting. It was guys that were 5'10", 5'11". And yes, you're not going to be able to stop somebody who's has 40 or 50 pounds on you and 3 inches. Good luck.
Oh, it's David.
He's
I love
back.
the guy. It's funny. I love this picture. It makes me think of the movie UHF, which I can't do the line that I want to do because it involves me doing an accent that would get me canceled. So I'm not allowed to do that accent. But just go watch the movie UHF and you'll understand. Which is great, by the way. It's got Weird Al. It's an old movie. It's fantastic. But I can't. That picture makes me think of a very specific reference that I can't do.
Need to bench 2.
Bench 2.
Chubb and Tracy.
Wow, I agree. I'm just stunned that you're going to recommend sitting Tracy. I know, but Chubb or Pittman.
That's an
interesting. I figured for you it'd be easy clap on telling people to sit down Pittman. Wow.
Where are the Browns playing?
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Okay, that's why.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I'd argue with you about that if I could. Angela's got getting another question in by proxy. Dell, Myers, Wandale,
Myers.
JK? Oh, Dobbins. JK Dobbins or White. Hang on.
Still going to be Myers.
Even I'm kind of leaning Myers on that one.
I like the matchup for Dell, but trusting Dell, I don't like that boat. It's been a rough one.
I have White and Myers right next to each other.
Yeah, and those are both safe plays.
And they both have really good matchups. I'm gonna give the edge. I'm gonna give the edge to Myers by like this much. Only because I hate the quarterback situation, but it's not like Aiden O'Connell didn't play a third.
Didn't focus on Myers and Bowers.
I mean? Yeah. Right, he's going to throw it to the same stupid people, so it doesn't matter.
Correct.
And the other reason I'm saying this is because the Raiders are going to be losing that game, even though this is a division game, and we just saw all kinds of. I don't care. They're going to be losing that game by 80. And they're going to need to throw because the Raiders are just that bad. The Raiders on a bunch of the next level metrics that I follow, and I could get you names of it, but on Twitter they were posting it. The new power rankings came out, and the new adjusted graphs for where they plot all the teams, and the Raiders actually fell behind the Panthers after last week. Finally, they've been right next to each other on the NFL pathetico-meter, and the Panthers for all season have been the most pathetic team. But after last week's performance, the Raiders have now slotted behind to take over the coveted most pathetic.
The Panthers jumping over the Chiefs last week, like taking them
to
the wire.
They at least just played a competent game, so that caused those two ideas to flip, and now the Raiders are firmly the NFL's most pathetic team right now. It's pretty sad. But I'd say you could narrow the list for Angela to White or Myers, and I'm going to give the edge to Myers by literally this much. If she decides she wants to play White, I really wouldn't nitpick that. It's about the same. They both have really good matchups. They should both see plenty of work. But my concern about White slightly is that it's literally Bucky Irving gashes the Carolina Panthers into the nowhere. And then White, they don't even need White. White's just sitting on the thing. Whereas they're going to throw to Myers. They don't really have a choice. That's not optional.
Yeah. Just remember, 22.1 fantasy points last week.
In a matchup that was not in his
favor. Should not have been a thing.
Yeah. Well, does everyone know what time it is? Is everyone excited?
Oh, you know it.
Everyone get excited because it's about to be time for
Dude,
everybody's
let's go.
favorite segment.
Man, I'm craving a hot dog real bad.
Ready? It's hot dog time.
Spin the wheel, place your bet. It's time again for tight end roulette.
Presented by Ballpark Franks. They plump when you cook them. If you concept is in no way affiliated with Mark Sanchez or Ballpark Franks.
Oh my god. Everybody loves it. All right. We're gonna do the wheel of tight ends, and then we're gonna go to bed. So that's what's about to happen. So get ready for it. We're gonna spin the wheel.
Whoa. It's faster than I was expecting it.
I am in no way interested in any of this. I actually cut Dalton Schultz in all the leagues I might have had him. I'm done. I did that prior to last week, for example, because there's just better streaming options at tight end than Dalton Schultz at this point. There just are. Shame that. And I don't even care that it's a good matchup for him this week. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Diggs being out should have been the reason he was having. And
Yeah.
Collins couldn't do anything. Not worth it.
He's just not a consistent contributor at this point. And frankly, I know they're playing Jacksonville. Dalton Schultz is droppable in all formats. That's what I'll tell you. And we spin the wheel. Come on, baby. All right, Pat Freiermuth. I'm sitting Pat Freiermuth this week. Pat Freiermuth is not something that I'm interested in playing. I've got him at tight end 20. I'm not sold on this. I think the players that I'm more interested in for the Steelers, in reality, that I would start for fantasy are Jalen Warren, Harris, because you just literally might not have better options, and Pickens. And that's kind of the only Steelers I'm going to recommend here. Not really recommending Freiermuth. If you were desperate, I could think of worse streaming options, but he's not really something I would prioritize going out of my way for. And we spin the wheel. Oh.
Nope.
Yeah. No Dalton Kincaid. No, thank you. I have Dalton Kincaid at 19. And Dalton Kincaid, frankly, is approaching droppable if he's not already.
Currently, tight end 20.
Yeah. That's why I have him at 19. He's not consistent.
Not consistent. In points per game.
Yeah. Not consistent. Not a consistent thing for them right now. He's pretty much droppable. If I needed a roster spot, I could make the argument that dropping Kincaid at this point, because we're well past the point where draft capital mattered. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. It's not happening. There's better names on this list for sure. Cole Kmet. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this either.
I got to see more of it, is my thing. The change of them starting him full time over Everett, benching Everett, his usage the past 2 weeks have been
post firings.
Yeah.
Post Bears coaching firings has been attractive, but
it's gotten better.
It's gotten better, but it's not consistent enough for me to want to play it in fantasy.
Yeah. Not in big enough sample size, but
yeah,
something to keep an eye on.
At least the arrow is pointing up.
Yeah.
And now we get to something finally that I am excited about. Zach Ertz coming off back-to-back huge usage weeks, 2 touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. Ertz is like a top 10 tight end. He's been a top 10 tight end. The whole thing about Ertz has been you just kind of assume he's going to get hurt at some point because that's been the career of Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is something that I'm absolutely rostering in many, many leagues. He is something that I would play. I would consider playing him this week.
Currently tight end 7.
Right, exactly. He's been, and he was the tight end 9 prior to last week. So it's like he's getting the usage. They need a safety blanket. I'm gonna keep playing Ertz. A lot of people still haven't warmed up to this idea yet, and they are wrong.
Also, Austin Eckler being out.
Yep, that helps. Yeah, so I'm expecting good things for Zach Ertz to continue. Basically, you could just keep playing Zach Ertz until he gets hurt. And Jason, you and I have talked about this on multiple weeks, where it's like you can pretty much just play Zach Ertz until he gets hurt at this point, or unless you have some kind of other better option. But he's been good.
That's my issue. I've been consecutively playing Goddard because I don't want to ruin Zach Ertz.
Right. Goddard's
in my lineup. You're getting a 2, fella.
Yeah. Zach Ertz is basically kind of my like streaming go-to for tight end at this point. That's kind of where he's arrived. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. No, we got to talk about this one too. Go ahead, Jason. You do whatever you're going to do over there.
Well, so in any kind of competitive game, he's seeing enough targets. I mean, I think, let's see. If I
He had
count
an
them.
8 in fantasy last week.
Yeah.
I believe it was an 8.
He should have been targeted more.
Yeah, probably.
That's again part of the reason that they weren't moving the ball is because when they got to Disley, he was getting a couple of extra yards and it was in the center of the field, and they just, I don't know, weren't looking there. We're looking at Quentin Johnston instead to drop it.
Whatever that was.
Hitting him dead in the hands. Throw it to Disley. Disley at least catches the ball. Like, it was extremely frustrating. But he is also being used around the goal line. This is a good matchup, as we kind of talked about. So, a lot of opportunity here. I really like him as a streamer.
I can make this really simple, like from my end. The 2 names on this list that I was actually interested in this week were Disley and Ertz. That's it.
There's one more.
Oh, there is one more, I guess technically, but it's Disley and Ertz were the 2 that I'm the most interested in. They're the ones that I'm going to recommend because they're both seeing consistent usage. They're both being targeted. They're both catching the targets they're involved in the game plan, and they're worth rostering and they're worth potentially starting. So Will Disley is a wheels up. I would pick up Will Disley at this point, which is kind of funny because we've seen him have success in his career when he was in Seattle, but he always gets hurt. It's literally Zach Ertz, but younger. It's like if he could ever not get hurt, then he would be worth something, but he always manages to get hurt. And it's like, so far that hasn't happened yet this year for both those guys.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for Pitts this week. I'm more interested in other things on the Falcons.
Well, when's the last time that Pitts had a double-digit game? Week 8.
Yeah, week 8.
He had 3 in a row.
So hasn't
week 6, 7, and 8, and that's it.
Yeah, hasn't had a double-digit game in 3 weeks, and it's a terrible matchup. So let's not belabor the point.
4 double-digit games this year.
Wait, Mark Andrews coming off a 13 against Philly.
Yeah.
Maybe. I like him as a potential streamer, but the problem is he's not really a streamer because his rostership percentage is so crazy.
Yeah.
I would play Mark Andrews over Ertz potentially, but I don't think I would play him over Disley. I honestly would struggle with that if I had all 3 of them. They're all about the same. So I'm okay with playing Andrews. I'm good with it because likely he's kind of being slowly phased out. But the problem with Andrews is that like it's not consistent. It's very inconsistent. If you're looking for consistent, you want Ertz and Disley. So, and I know it doesn't do much for Jason. I think I know the name Jason's interested on this list.
So close. One more.
Yeah, I'm not going to play Noah Gray. I've already been on record about the idea that I think that his last 2 weeks is a giant fluke.
Yeah, and this is not a game that they're going to have to worry about getting the ball to Kelsey.
Yeah, should be pretty easy to do whatever they want.
We've made it.
All right, you're gonna go back to the well on Tucker Craft, huh?
Mostly because Dobbs is out.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure.
That's like the lone reason I'm going back to Kraft. And I think that's the lone reason. Did he score last week? Yes. The lone reason he scored last week or hit double digits last week is because Dobbs went out.
Kraft scares the crap out of me, and I'm not going to co-sign that. Sam Laporta also scares the crap out of me, and I'm not going to co-sign that. You can feel free to bench Sam Laporta, coming off that lovely 3 last week. And I would maybe feel differently about this if Amon-Ra wasn't going to play, but based on today's update, it sounds like he is trending towards playing on Thursday, and that yesterday was basically just a rest day. And then you're never going to play Mike Gesicki. So, thank you for coming to the Wheel of Time.
Spin the wheel, place a bet. It's time again for tight and roulette.
Presented by Ballpark Franks. They plump when you cook them. If the concept is no way affiliated with Mark Sanchez or Ballpark Franks.
All right. One last question that came in while we were doing the wheel there. Do you want to start JSN or Taylor?
JSN.
Yeah, me too. JSN.
He's been just tearing it up recently.
Easy. That was easy. That one was easy. That was easy. So final thoughts, Jason. Final parting thoughts for everyone here as we ride out.
Take a nap in the afternoon
Yes.
on Thanksgiving.
Cosign. Nap time. Nap time would be great.
Yeah.
Maybe watch an old war movie with Grandpa or something, or watch like a Western, like make them happy. Like, I don't know, but don't watch the Cowboys-Giants game.
Yeah, that just seems like too many variables that are.
Seems like a recipe for
It's
aggravation.
either gonna be really fun offensively or really ugly defensively.
That's where my money is. It just seems like a sloppy, crappy game all around that I want no part of. So that's where we are. All right. So with that, I hope everybody has a happy and fun holiday and is safe. Don't drive like a lunatic and don't start a fight at the airport. You don't want to meet the air marshal if you're flying. You don't want to do that. So everybody have a fun time. As we mentioned at the top of the show, Mason and Vishal will be in tomorrow to do locked in early to get you all set for all your betting takes and everything for the weekend. And we will be back. No, there is no Thursday show because it's the holiday. So just post your questions in the Discord. We are monitoring the Discord, link below. We are monitoring that even though it is Thursday. So you will, if you post questions, you will get an answer. Daniel, we will set your lineup as soon as we're done here for that one league because I'm not taking 30 minutes on the air to set the lineup. So we will set that lineup here in a moment. And then we will go ahead and so no show Thursday, and then on
Sunday.
Yeah, no show Friday. We will be back on Sunday. We will be back on Sunday for your regularly scheduled program.
After tomorrow, there are no shows until Sunday.
Correct. So there it is. So everybody have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday. Try not to let your family drive you crazy. And hopefully you're thankful for something. But until we see you on Sunday, keep up the nonsense.